Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back from lunch. This is probably my favorite time of the day when we get a chance to pause and chat with some of our colleagues and learn from their experiences and their wisdom. And so we are really very fortunate today to have with us Alicia Murasaki, who is the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Campus Planning and the Campus Architect, and Scott Muxen, who is the Associate Vice Chancellor of Campus Design and Construction in Real Estate. And they've so graciously agreed to join us in this fireside chat today. We have a bunch of questions we want to ask them, and then we'll also have an opportunity to open this up to the floor as well. So first of all, please join me in welcoming Alicia Murasaki and Scott Muxen.
I think they're going to get the wisdom from you. So.
If you, I should maybe give you a little biographical background, and then we'll tap in. As I was saying to them, I'm looking forward to learning the secret sauce. And believe me, they have a lot of wisdom to impart to us. So Alicia is as I said, the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Campus Planning and the Campus Architect, who many of us have worked with. She leads the team providing professional planning services that guide the physical development of the university and support the strategic development of the campus. She assesses campus space needs and requirements and publishes the annual updates to the UCSF Capital Improvement Program. Very critical to us. And as campus architect, Alicia provides campus-wide technical and aesthetic guidance, design standards, guidelines, and policies for the built environment. We're going to hear more about that. And Scott Muxen is the Associate Vice Chancellor of Campus Design and Construction within Real Estate. And in his leadership role, he oversees the design and delivery of capital projects across UCSF's campus. And this includes leased and owned facilities, campus-occupied buildings, and UCSF-wide infrastructure. And Scott joined in June 2015, as Director of Capital Projects. At that time, there was only 6 FTEs, holy cow, managing a portfolio of 35 projects. And today, we're taking a look at 58 project delivery professionals responsible for delivering 185 active projects valued at approximately $1.8 billion, and that is with a B, with additional projects forthcoming. So this is going to be a wonderful chance. And I think everybody knows me, but I'm Mary Anne, and I'm with Facilities. So I'm going to ask each of you a series of questions, and feel free to jump in if one of you really wants to give us your response first. But first, let's hear a little bit about the part of your job that you love, that most people don't even realize is part of campus design or real estate. You want me to start with Alicia?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Let's give that a shot.
Just user error. I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah. Okay, let's give that a shot.
Hello. Okay.
Are you hearing her okay?
Yes.
Great.
The thing that people don't know that's part of my job, or the best part of my job. I forgot.
Well,
the
you can say
question
both,
already.
but I think it's what part something that you love about your job that people don't even realize is part of your job.
Oh, okay.
Campus
So
design.
I think a lot of people know I do a lot of work, and my team does a lot of work up front. But it is really important that when a project is finished and people have moved in or have begun to use it, to go back and see how's it working. And I actually really enjoy that about my job, to see scientists doing science, or people hanging out in an outdoor space enjoying it, or even small things like the door that used to never be open because it was always broken, and now people can go through it. Like, that's amazing. What do you think, Scott?
I think that most people don't realize about my job that I really enjoy. Part of the reason that I stay here is because I get a chance to interact with so many amazing people, Nobel Prize winners that are like out on the edge, and they to be able to design and build their facilities, whether it's a little TI or whether it's a huge building, we need to understand what they're doing and their science. And to me, I'm very curious about all that. I only understand like this much of it, but I love learning that, and I also love learning about their journeys, right? So I do a lot of work with Dr. Stan Prusner, and I've been able to spend so much time with him over the years that I've learned about his own personal journey here at UCSF and before. And so that's a part of my job that is really important to us being effective, and I just love about being here. So.
And he's got a great sense of humor. Has he told you the story about his dad, the architect?
He wants to be
Yeah.
an
Oh,
architect.
yeah.
He's like an architect wannabe, and so I think he wants to redesign all the buildings too. So Hunter's Point is out there for a reason.
Oh, yeah, that's out there. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's,
It's
he
work-
he
continual
does that
work.
with every single project we go through. Have you tried doing this? Right, so, yeah.
And he has very strong design opinions.
I've never noticed that about him. I thought he was very calm all the
He's
time.
brilliant, and he's a genius, so we can have a little joke here. Okay, so when you walk around, so I'm thinking about, as you guys are talking, I'm already thinking about Jane Jacobs and the Death and Life of American Cities, and how physical, the built environments is sort of a living thing. And I bet when you walk around, there's things that you notice that other people just don't. We either miss it or we just don't have that insight. Can you tell us what you notice?
True confession, I have a little OCD, so
Me too.
when light switches and electrical outlets don't line up on a wall, oh, bonkers. Hate that.
That's a good one. Can you top that?
It's so many things go through my head. So if it's an active project, I'm also quite OCD. And I used to teach Lean and 5S out in the field to field staff. And so I'm always, when I walk through an active construction site, I'm not looking at how much work they got done. I'm looking at how the individuals are actually working and how well organized they are and how they're working, where's their material at, where's their equipment, where are their supplies, how are they working with the trade partner that's right next door to them. And those are the things that I see that most people don't see. And I can usually, not always, but I can usually tell the health of a project, overall health of a project, by those indicators out in the field about how the people are organized and moving around. Other than that, I walk around saying, oh, we finished that? That doesn't look finished to me. I'm gonna make a call. So is that helpful?
Yes, I love it. I love it. Let's talk about where good projects can sometimes go off the rails. Is it early vision, midstream compromises, later stage risk aversion?
You have to go first.
You go
on
first
that
on that
one.
one? Yeah. Does that ever happen?
Survey says. Wow, there's so many opportunities about where things go off the rails, and it's different for different size projects. And so Alicia and I get to tag team all the time on the big projects. And so, and part of our jobs are to help the team, the project team itself, and all the user groups that are trying to impart their vision on the design team, get all of them aligned in the beginning to actually design the product that they need, that only spends the money that we have available, and it does it in the time that we want it to be done. And so I'm going to say, if you don't do that in the beginning, it's almost 100% guarantee that your end product is going to fail. It's also, for me personally, one of the most fun and engaging times. And so I'll let Alicia weigh in. I'm not sure if you wanted me to answer it that way or.
Oh, you
That
went
wasn't
off
the
script.
scripted
You
one.
went off
Wait a
script,
second, hold
yeah.
on.
Did you guys practice?
Oh, that was the wrong question. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree with you. Actually, when I joined UCSF, it's going to be 7 years pretty soon.
Wow.
One of the challenges that was shared with me by my predecessor was I better get on Scott Muxen's good side. How's that going?
I paid Michael to do that, so, and Lori, so.
Yeah, and all joking aside, I think that really meant when you're setting up a project in the pre-planning, pre-design phase, you're making a lot of decisions that then I get to walk away from and I don't have to worry about because I don't have to actually deliver that project. And so how do we make projects more successful is bringing Scott and his team in early, so we're making those decisions together. But then he also doesn't get rid of me right when design ends, because we all know things get hairy in the middle when you have a problem and you have to make tough decisions to solve it. And it's very easy to take your eye off the goal that you started with when you're 2-3 years down the road. And so we've worked really hard, I think, to try to minimize those places where it goes wrong. We're human, so we haven't achieved 100% success yet. But I think right in the middle is a really hairy time.
Because that's when the fun design part is kind of over. You might have spent a lot of money and everybody was excited about their ideas, but the contractor has to say, this is what you're going to pay me for this. Mm-hmm. And everybody, the stainless steel air handling units, the SCADA, all the things that we all want in there to make it a great, resilient, long-term project and building, all get challenged again. And for our part, we feel like if we're being challenged there with big things, we need to improve our process upstream so that those are things that are incorporated from day one. But not everybody cooperates with that. We have plenty of examples where the Weil project, we had to add an entire floor onto the building in design development. So
We could have a whole day on the Weil
yeah,
building, I think.
they don't always cooperate. I hope we answered the question. Yeah.
I think what I'm so much, I mean, architects envision a physical environment, but in order to even realize that vision, there's so much planning and thought and input and information that has to be gathered, and it really sounds like it's the measure twice, cut once, to be very simplistic. That's so much planning. Campus planning is probably just as important, if not more important, than the actual construction later on.
That's what I think.
That's what she tells me all the time.
Okay.
And I just believe her. As one of my work wives, I just believe everything she says.
So here's a sore spot that people talk about how long things take. So what's a common misconception about the slowness of a campus project that you'd like to put to rest? Can you just tell us a little bit about that? Because I know that's a pain point.
Any project at UCSF is more complicated than building a garage at your house.
Yeah.
That's not a misconception. That if I built a garage at my house or I renovated my kitchen, I know how to do a project at UCSF. That's the misconception I'd like to put to bed. That's
actually a presentation that I have, that I've done, I'm serious, to the deans. Anybody wants to see it, I'm happy to share it with you, that I did, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. I need to do it again. That literally had, here's all the things, and I walked into the meeting and said, everybody who's done a remodel at their house, a kitchen remodel, I picked something hard, raise your hand. Everybody, 90% of the room, raise your hand. It said, so you went through these steps, and in the slides, here are the steps you did, did you or your partner make different decisions during the course of that? Were you aligned on what color? What you doing? And then on the other side of the slide, I list all the steps that we have to take as a public higher ed medical institute, and it quiets the room down. And then I ask the question at the end, because there's always a lot of conflict, and we all of us that are delivering our jobs get challenged all the time on, why didn't you do it this way, and why does it take so long, and why is it so expensive? And the thing that always drives it home is I said, how many of you almost got a divorce with your partner during the course of that little kitchen remodel that you had? And all the same hands go up. Right? So that's just two of you. So imagine all the stakeholders that we have. And it's
Do you ever use the Hebrew national tagline, "We answer to a higher authority"?
that's usually Sam, the chancellor.
Well, yeah, here on that one. Tell us about the most satisfying moment of a project. Just the project lifestyle. Like, what's that moment, and that just hits it for you. That's the sweet spot. What is it and why?
Go first on this one.
Okay, well, again, I'm going to focus on larger projects because the moment for me personally is quite distinct. I've been focusing on integrated lean project delivery for most of my career and have been directly involved with leading on the ground, not as a administrative person, but leading large groups. California Pacific Medical Center Hospital was one of the biggest projects I've ever worked on and formed the team there. And there's a moment when you're doing integrated lean project delivery when all of the 80 or 150 companies and all the stakeholders finally get aligned and they understand that what this person or this company does impacts what this person does and impacts what this person does, and that we're all one big enterprise. And it clicks, and you start to see it in the way they ask and answer questions and the work product they deliver, and things, you can feel it, right? That things speed up and you have fewer mistakes, and to see that integration really occur, true collaboration, that to me is one of the most exciting times on a project. And it's a piece that Alicia and I try to model when we're in the midst of those projects. So I'm just going to pause there and say that's my moment personally.
I'm going to say, I don't disagree with Scott. I'm going to say that for me, let's draw the circle one area out. And that's when we get to hand over a finished construction project to all of you to make it actually a living, operating place for people to work, both ourselves here in this room, but also the final occupants. And we all forget, like, oh yeah, we spent 8 meetings arguing about what valves we should use, and we just get to really see the efforts of our work, and those previous points of tension fade away as the new team kind of focuses in on, yes, I got to make some decisions during design and construction, and now I get to really test were those decisions correct. I get to operate this building. I get to see what the commissioning report says after the construction is done. And I think that's a really exciting piece, because I became an architect because we get to make places, not to draw pretty pictures on the computer. So the physical manifestation is really amazing to me, and when we get to hand it over to you all to really run, I love it.
And they're living environments. Mm-hmm. And people are doing the remarkable things in living environments that you designed and built. Yeah. So how, over the course of your careers, have your definitions of a successful project or good design maybe changed?
I'm going to answer, at the beginning of my career, I sat in an office and I designed things. To be honest, the first thing I got to design was a toilet bathroom, but a multi-stall bathroom. But I was in a design office designing things, and I had this idea that architects got to put down what I wanted, what I thought the best design was, what I thought the most functional thing was, what I thought was the most beautiful. And so where I sit to now is that it's really not what I want. I want a sustainable building, which means a building that people love to operate, to work in, to look at, to walk by, to enter once, to enter every day. And so it's become a lot less about what I think and a lot more about how do I get engagement so I know what everyone else thinks to make it a really amazing place.
I like that.
Your answers are so good. I mean, you're so.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm an architect. Hey, man.
Yeah. At least I have some role in having your dream come true.
You have a role in making me look good, I know.
Yeah. Before I came to UCSF, I was in the commercial construction. I won't go through all my history, but many, many years, basically designing and building things in a wide variety of different products, from 45-story high-rises in downtown New York to food processing facilities in Ohio to pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities. But I always looked at things through the lens, because I was a co-owner in a couple of different things, is a good design and a good project was one I made money on. And we didn't have any claims, and we didn't have any safety issues. And so my lens before I got to UCSF was really around execution, safe execution, and making money. And so when I came to UCSF, a number of things changed that outcome, or that perspective. And so now when I get feedback from Dr. Prusner's staff who are running the brand new cryo EM suite, and they're telling me that they just discovered things that they thought was going to take them 2 years to figure out through their previous model, that's really satisfying. And so I'm more focused now on the benefits, kind of like what you're saying. And also having gone through a few things in my life where I benefited from the work that I had done before, like being treated on equipment that I'd installed as a general contractor years ago, and then coming here to UCSF and being treated on that same equipment, changes my perspective about what we do and how important it is for our mission here at UCSF. So,
Absolutely. Tell me, is there a red flag? Did you have a personal red flag that just the hackles go right up when you're hearing a project pitch? Do you have a personal red flag that really makes you stop a moment there and take pause?
you mean when she kicks me under the table
Yeah,
when we're
yeah,
interviewing?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we changed out the chairs here. We separated
I want
you
to
guys
see
out.
if yours is the same as mine.
Oh, okay. My personal red flag is if we can't get this project done for this dollars and this much money, someone will die. Having worked in other healthcare institutions, that just makes me a little crazy. It's really not that important most of the time.
A little stress.
That was what I was going to say.
okay.
I said-
What are you gonna say?
No, it's when we now go through an interview process for all of our bigger teams. And it's proven to be far better than questionnaires and all the scoring we do and everything else. And so we set up a situation that's actually a real potential situation on the project. And we give the teams the ability to, we give them the same problem, and they have to form a team, right? They're in the room, kind of a live fire exercise, and they need to tell us how they're going to go solve the problem. And the instant turnoff is, there's a couple of them. One, they don't engage us in the process, which was...
Are you all going to run out and tell your friends in the
don't tell them
construction
these
industry
tricks.
that?
They don't engage us in the process. When, instead of acting and behaving as a team, the most senior executive steps in and says, I'm going to do this. We're never going to see that person again on the project unless there's a dispute. And so the people that say I, and they don't engage their team to go solve the problem, and they don't engage us, that's when usually we talk to each other.
Your answer is better.
And
Yeah,
say,
I'm changing
okay.
it to his answer.
It's
Okay.
kind of like you're doing a hackathon. So when you were
exact-
just describing
yeah.
it, I was thinking about what we're doing here this week with the hackathon.
So to me, that's when I know
yeah.
we're not working with that team.
That's pretty cool.
Just drop your score.
And do they compete then, and do you, okay.
Those interviews get scored, and the people that are in there are not just the two of us. Like, we're going to be doing this for the upcoming 409 selection, for the new education and dentistry clinics. And Dr. Lucy will be in there, and Dean Reddy will be in there, and so the key users and leadership will be there so they can see how the team is going to behave.
Fascinating. If somebody wanted to come and work with you, what should they know about how you think, or what should they understand about how you think?
Scott, what do you think about me?
So do you want the inside line, or do you just want what she's going to tell you? No, you have to, you have to answer it for yourself. Oh, hold on a second. Wait. Hold on. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. When talking with Alicia, go ahead.
Oh, can I answer for you? I have to answer for myself? Okay.
Yeah, you have to answer for yourself.
When working with me, I think you should know I'm very stubborn. Yeah, dog with a bone, kind of stubborn. But I am reasonable. So if you bring me the data and you give me a good justification, I may back off.
But you position that as you're passionate.
Yeah, oh, that's a much better way to put it.
But,
Yes, I'm passionate.
Okay.
Thank you.
Passionate would,
I got your back.
Passionate would be an understatement. I would say a level of tenacity around certain things that you should be aware of. But also, just to add a few other things, very curious and will ask lots of questions to seek understanding, particularly if there's a serious difference, right? So a really good debater as far as you bring an idea, she has an opposing view, and she'll really engage with you openly and honestly.
Wear you down.
But isn't that
Truth,
one of the beauties of working at UCSF, is that we work amongst some really remarkable people who are incredibly brilliant and very knowledgeable and have very strong, passionate, feelings about things. And, it's not restricted to the clinical or the research environment. It's in real estate. It's in all of the people in this room. It's that we really care.
I've argued with Paul Landry more times than so, and he wins still most of the time. So,
Follow up with that question afterwards, Paul. Where's Paul? He's in the back there smiling. I saw that smile.
No, what about you?
I thought I was dodging that one.
No.
Oh, damn it.
I told you, persistent.
So a couple of things that may not be obvious. So I consider myself a systems thinker. So if you're talking about this right here, as you're explaining that, I'm always thinking about how it affects this, and this, and including the people that impacts. And so it's important when you're pitching or talking to me or trying to get something through that's going to cause me, because I'm also very curious. So I ask a lot of questions, which many people might think are that I'm being argumentative, but I'm really seeking understanding because I'm really trying to see how it's going to fit in the big picture. And so I ask a lot of questions, and I think the third thing, besides what everybody already knows, is that I'm opinionated. I think that's any question on that one. Is that I tend to be overly direct. I've actually had to go through some coaching to quit being so direct. And so those are three things that would help you if you're, is that accurate?
Yeah, I could add a few more things.
Oh, go for it. Just do it. Give them the full Monty. Go ahead.
Okay. I would say, in my experience, come prepared. So if you have a half an argument, oh, Paul Landry is like his head's about to fall off. It's bobbling back there. So if you have a half opinion, one anecdote, that's just not going to fly with you. That you really want to see the data. And it is possible to change your mind, but you have to come prepared.
I'll give you a real life example. That's 100% accurate. Paul Landry and his team. You're okay with
Paul,
this, right,
did you
Paul?
know just
about
move
you
on
today?
down here?
So Paul Landry and his team came to me when we were trying to get BRAB. We were in the design phase of BRAB. And he said, I really want to connect this to the central utility plan. It's part of our long-term master plan, all these other things. And I was like, well, Paul, how do I get these utilities all the way across the middle of the campus? First off, I don't have the money for that in my project budget. It was never approved as part of the original concept. And I said, you know, the only real place to do this, because we're going to change Medical Center Way and we're going to change Corrette and all that over time, is if we didn't have the School of Nursing there. Well, that sneaky guy. So I just shot him down. I said, no. He must have talked to somebody else we know and put the bone in her mouth, because she came up at a weak moment.
Innocently.
Yeah, not a chance. And said, why can't we do this? This makes so much sense for resiliency, for you know, everything. It hits so many different things. I said, I got a building in the way. And I said...
And that is not what you said. You said, I can't talk about this right now.
That's true. That's true. That's true. You have a point. I won't go into the reasons why that was,
Yeah.
but that's not important right now. But I did do that. And then I said, hey, we have a building full of people, multiple programs, one of our favorite restaurants, that's in the way. Did you know? Have you noticed this? Have you walked the campus lately? And she said, well, this is a key part, because she practiced something that I wasn't practicing at the time, which I try to encourage my teams and everybody. She was practicing yes, if. So having a mindset of yes, I can do that impossible thing if the following things happen, instead of no, because. And so what I said was, ultimately, yes, if you can find a rational way to decant that entire building, and we can find money to actually demolish it, then we will change the design of BRAB, because we had to do that, and we'll run the utilities across there. And so it was a big list of ifs. And I don't know if anybody walked through the middle of Parnassus lately. It's looking a little different these days. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if...
Good answers. Good answers.
Thank you, Paul.
So what's something about your job which people assume is technical or procedural, but which is in fact quite deeply human?
I will say, I'm going to give a shout out to Edward Toe. I thought I saw him in the room. I think design is deeply human. There he is. I think design is deeply human. And so when you bring a small project in front of our design review process for small projects, and you come ready with, well, it's this size, and I need this many kilowatts, and we often will ask, well, you know, those chairs don't look very comfortable for the visitors. Maybe we could have arms on the chair. And so I think design is often really about fitting the human body, about creating an atmosphere where people will interact together. And that's not so technical. That's about being a person.
Mm-hmm.
You always have these good answers. So you talked about all the metrics and the people that are on the team, and so I think what's not obvious to people about my job is that really I'm here as a navigator for all of my staff, to help them navigate through the ever-changing and ever-growing environment here at UCSF, and bringing whatever I've been able to learn over the years and tapping into others to help them navigate all of the constraints that are part of project delivery. And so helping them navigate that, and then coaching them personally, because everybody's got a different way of doing things, and how you engage with people, whether it's Dr. Prusner, or whether it's Paul Landry, or whether it's somebody else, you have to meet them where they're at to be able to navigate your way to get things done around here. And so, to me, that's very personal and human, and it has to be tailored to almost everybody, because everybody sees the world through their own experiences in their own lives. And can be a really challenging organization to navigate, with so many smart people, with so many passions, and so to me, that's a part of my job that I really enjoy. Yeah.
This is sort of a nice segue, which is, where do your instincts tend to clash with the system, and how do you navigate that to resolve the tension?
Well, the topic I was just talking about.
Yeah.
So my instinct, I come from the commercial world,
Yeah.
I mean, especially where I was a co-owner in multiple organizations. It was like, this is the way you're doing it. That's the rule we have. Just do it that way and move on, which is not very collaborative. And so my instincts are just to get things done. I pride myself in getting things done. Although my wife would argue about that at home, so maybe cancel that one. But what I really realize is that leadership isn't around telling people what they should or shouldn't do. It's around helping them discover that in the right way, so that they can chart their own journey through that and be more effective and grow. So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question you asked, but...
Thinking about the system a little bit, I mean, it's kind of like we have this giant freighter out on the high seas, and sometimes we have to get things done. And so there's going to be some natural clashes with that. I just wondered how you navigate anything that just...
Every single day.
Every day, okay.
If you were to look at my inbox...
Daily meditations.
If you were looked at my inbox this morning, which I'm not going to talk about, but let's just say urgent and upsetting emails from executive leadership about why a project isn't ready yet, and knowing that none of the reasons that it's not ready have anything to do with my project team's ability or perseverance or anything like that. They're just, but not being able to wave my hands and say, well, it's not our fault, it's that person's fault, and that company and that organization, and they can't get these people here. So, you know, you just have to navigate it. And so my instinct at times is to get in and jump in and push things along, or pull things through. And at times we have to jump in and intervene. But that should be a last resort, not a first instinct. And so I've had to learn since, you know, a bigger organization, to empower people rather than direct people. And it's better for everybody, right? It's scalable, it's better for the everybody. So is that a little bit better?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good,
Do you want to
thanks.
add to that, Alicia?
Sure. I think, like Scott, this is my first experience working for a large public institution. And so where I feel the most tension is like, that's a good idea. I can find the money. Let's do it now. And here there are multiple steps to getting a decision, and then you think you have the decision, but it's not really the final decision, and then there's more paperwork to do to even just get the, okay, let's do this. And then there's 5,000 more steps after you get that. And so that's tough for me. But I do see that UCSF was here long before I got here, and it will be here long after I leave. And that slowness at times is to de-risk in the initiatives. It's to allow the time for the priorities to rise to their appropriate level, because I can't see everything. I'm not high enough or smart enough, I don't know, to see all the different priorities across the institution. And so that slowness is a safety valve, and I hate it, but I understand it.
I think, how are we doing on time, Denny? We're doing okay? Okay, good. Because your answers are all so great. I want to hopefully get through all of these, but I just want
As
to make
long
sure.
as there's no open Q&A at the end, because we already had a threat of a heckler, so.
Well, he's in the back, you know.
Oh, no, it's different person.
Just joking. He's a very nice guy. Over time, are there things that you become less dogmatic about, and there's other things that you feel like you're a little bit more stubborn about? Has that shifted?
While Scott's thinking, I'll answer this. I used to think that every project had to be perfect, and you had to have everything in it, everything you needed in it, everything you wanted, the most innovative, the best. And now I realize that not every project can hold all of that you have to give up, like, okay, well, I can't spend 3 months on that. We can spend 1 week on it, and so we're going to get good in that category, because it's more important to get this project done. And so now I have much more of a view, and it's probably the length of time I've been working, that as long as every project is better than the last, that I've learned something that I can bring to the next project, that's great.
I like
And
that.
so that perfection at an individual project level, I've had to let that go. Well, because we never achieved it, but also just having a broader view that there are many, many projects in life.
I wrote that down. Every project better than the last. I like that.
I don't know. I have lots of different thoughts about this, but I'll just mention this one, which is I think for a while I was trying to build an organization that the project manager had a very, very clear role, and that they needed to be able to do everything that was part of that role. And our job descriptions are written like that. I had high expectations, and that probably would have worked if we focused on hiring exactly the same type of project manager. But we don't, because I'm personally a believer in what I call the wisdom of crowds. So I really focus on diversity, diverse educational backgrounds, diverse social backgrounds, experience levels, ages, everything. And so when we're hiring people to join the team, they have to have the basic skills. But I really want some of the people that are going to bring their own unique experiences, because I've changed my thinking around a project manager's. There's certain things they have to do, but we have a big organization here. And I find that if we pause long enough to look at the skill sets of the people around us, whether they're in our department or in an adjacent department or even a whole different area of the university, that if somebody else has a really strong skill set and they want to bring it to the delivery of that project, that we seek them out and try to get their commitments to do that, so the work still gets done, but it might get done by somebody who's more skilled or passionate or has available time to get that done. And so I would say that's one of my mindsets that's changed quite a bit. It also helps with a lot of our customers who say, what can I do to reduce the cost? Or what can I do? Well, if you want to do this and you want to do this, those are areas that aren't defined by statute, right? Or, something like that. And so I would say might sound like a subtle shift, but it was a big shift for how I try to lead our team and how we're able to get work done with a fairly small crew.
I like that. I like the wisdom of crowds. Because the diversity of experience and knowledge results in such a rich outcome. And you're right, if you had everyone the same, it would you'd probably have a lot of monochromatic kind of outcomes. Yeah. I like this question, and I'm very curious as to your answer, which is if buildings could talk, we'll say campus buildings could talk, which ones would complain? Which one would complain the most? And what would it grumble about? This is a fun one.
Well, since we're in the Rudder Center, this building would be sad that we can't figure out how to keep the white streaks off the facade. And that the sun has faded the colors. And I think this is one of the tensions in a campus portfolio. You can't keep every building bright, shiny, new every day. So the good news is this building isn't needing to go to therapy because it still has the design intent intact. It's a wonderfully used, highly used building, and most of the things that happen here are fit for purpose even, I don't know, how old is this building? Someone must know. 18 years after it opened, something like that? 20? 20 years after it opened. So every building will have a complaint, but I don't think this one has tons of complaints. It's more like it needs a little facelift.
Stem cell treatment?
Yeah, stem cell treatment, yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's the medical science building.
Oh, poor MSB.
So, just imagine sitting there, and I'm not sure whether it's sad or angry or what. It's hard to tell. It's groaned a few times at me when I've been through there. But, a decade ago, it watched the clinical science building get completely gutted, right? And a whole new interior done, and it got painted, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's okay, I like that, maybe my time will come. And then right on the heels of that, it saw the oldest friend it had, right, get torn down and replaced with this new shiny thing. And then while that was going on, it's seeing its neighbor right there next to it, getting all the scaffolding, all the facelift on it, and new sprinklers, and all this work on the towers, the HSR towers. It's like, okay, well, maybe they're gonna touch me soon. And then now it's sitting there right in front of it, and it's like, oh my God, the School of Nursing, it's gone. And it's got to be looking like, what's next? When are they going to talk to me? Because they're not putting many new people in here anymore because it's kind of bad. And I think it has a very uncertain feeling that it's carrying around with it. So I think it's a medical science building.
I think it has some lovely nooks and crannies, though. You kind of get
around. You need to tell me where those are.
Well, it's the first time you when you first start and you're trying to navigate your way around. You feel so glad. Okay, I know if I get off that elevator and okay, this is MSB, right? Okay, but you want to go up. But if I go up and I keep going straight through that door, I can be in HSE. But if I take that right, I can go to HSE. But if I'm on the 9th floor, I can go to IRM. But it takes a while, and you get lost a lot of times initially, and then sometimes you're just out there, and you used to be out there in the courtyards, lost. And looking up.
I have to give a shout out to the paint shop because there's no tortilla chip paint in MSB anymore.
Oh yeah, the tortilla. That's That's true.
You know,
That is a little-
I didn't let the secret out before, but Patty Mitchell, everybody remembers Patty Mitchell?
Yes.
Okay. We used to play dirty tricks on new PMs that would come in. We'd send them in the front door and tell them to find her somewhere in the building. We sent her on a job walk to the
And
night.
you packed lunch.
And
snacks.
if they couldn't make it within 15 minutes of the time they were supposed to be there, it was like, yeah, they're not going to survive here, because that's just like if you don't, you can get lost in there. I've been lost in there for a day and a half one time.
Oh
so,
yeah, and and then when you get all the way to the top and you get down to the anatomy lab, you're like, I'm at the top of the world here. Yeah. One time I got lost, and then I ended up going outside, and then I was on Cave Yard, and I called the Poirot building. I thought I was going to get blown off the side, and I have a terrible fear of heights. I'm like, oh my God, it's just windy and it's cold, and this place is just at the end of the earth. And Parnassus does give you a thrill. There's a lot of. There are beautiful views. No, I'm serious. There are beautiful views, and there's incredible stuff, but I actually do think MSB has some very nice little nooks and crannies. I'm not kidding you.
One of the funniest stories, I was taking somebody on a tour who was applying for a senior level project here, or job here, and they were very confident. It was an executive level position, and so Patty and I were taking them on a tour, and we went up and crossed the bridge to get the IRM, and we were on the outside walkway there. You guys, everybody know that outside walkway?
Wait a minute, that was my interview.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
It was the other person that was going for your role, and so we're walking up, and we were just going to go up the outside because that was the most convenient way to get to the labs up at the end, and. Patty, she walked like 100 miles an hour, right? And so I'm up behind her, and we're waiting for the person, and I look back, and the person's like this against the wall.
That was me.
Right? And like, are you okay? I have a little bit of a fear of.
You got to go into the Pod A door and.
So yeah, we had to go back down and took mercy, but there's some epic views there.
Epic views is true.
Yeah.
But we digress. But they're epic views. Jessica's 100% right. Okay,
She always is.
She always is, yeah. So here's a little fantasy question. So if you could instantly remove one rule, one constraint or assumption from campus design or real estate, what would you take off the table? I love this question. Can't wait to hear your answer.
You go, I'm talking too much.
That we have to stay on budget.
I like the way you think.
Okay. Short and to the point.
Is that your answer?
Yes, that is my answer. Money solves a lot of problems.
I'm going to be a little more provocative, so you can kick me to keep me from getting in trouble, okay? As it relates to campus design and construction, there's this pervasive kind of assumption, and I think this comes from Charles, because I think Charles has been seeding this with all my customers. See here? Charles,
Mr.
you're
Redhead.
here? Raise your hand. You're not here? Darn it.
He's
Oh,
gone.
God.
Oh, no.
I don't like to burn somebody when they're not here. Is that our customers somehow think that we personally benefit financially and other ways by our projects costing what they cost and taking the time they take. I've literally had customers say, what, are you making a bunch of money on this? Is this how you make your budget work? It's like, are you kidding? I have project managers that have 15 projects and are working nights and weekends. The last thing I want to do is spend more of your money and take more time. And so that's something that's provocative to say, but I wish it's so not true. I'd like to, it would reduce the stress level on my team and probably a few people out here if we could kill that assumption. And
I think we all need to take a pledge that we are going to go out there and to try to demystify that assumption and just say, no, they are doing this for the greater good and as effectively, cost effectively, and with the best input to the design of the process as possible.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just end on this note, which is sort of, I think, more of a reflective question, but if you could finish this sentence: people think my job is this, but it's really that. And you've both alluded to this, but what are your thoughts on that? People think my job is X, but it's
I'd
really
love to
something
hear
else.
from the audience. What do you think my job is? Does anyone know?
To tell us what the special color blue is and only use that blue, right?
Ah, okay.
Isn't that, just joking. I
That
don't
is
think
part of
that's-
my job.
People don't always understand
And-
why that's important.
Anybody want to hazard a guess? Oh, I love it. That is my job. That is my job.
That is, yeah.
I'm going to borrow a little bit from Scott. I think my job is really to give my team the power to do the best work they possibly can, to say yes to ideas, to protect them from things that are outside of their control, and to gently guide them, because every single one of us, UCSF is a very unique organization in that the mission is quite clear and everyone is trying to get there. The only difference is we're maybe trying to get there a slightly different way. And so that's really what my job is. I do like picking blues, but
You know I was joking.
yeah, I do know you're
Yeah.
joking, but it's really in the service of, well, that's going to clash, and then for some people that's not going to be a great campus experience, and they may feel a little bit removed. But Jessica's right. I do want everyone to walk on campus and feel safe, included, awed by the beauty of their surroundings and the things that happen in our buildings.
Thank you, I like that. Something to add?
Can I just use your answer?
Yes. Is that the right blue?
I know my role. I'm not going to comment on colors. So, very much aligned with Alicia, not surprisingly. And we're only here. Our only purpose in life is to provide the right environment for everybody to do the work that's aligned with UCSF's purpose. And I know, because it's one of our interview questions for our PMs and everything else, if you're not, because we ask them, how do you feel connected to UCSF's pride values, and how do you feel connected to our purpose overall? And people that don't have an answer for that don't get hired. Most of our project delivery staff could be making a minimum of 20 to 50% more working for a commercial contractor outside. They're here because they believe in this. And so I believe that, part of my role is to help keep them connected to UCSF's mission. That's why we have our researchers and our doctors and our nurses and our dentists and everybody else come speak to our teams every single month, so they can learn that I'm not just designing and building a room or a space. We're doing something that supports something much bigger. And so part of my role is to help everybody stay connected to that. So.
It's a very beautiful set of campuses, but it's an even more beautiful mission. And I think that the work that you do when you walk around, going back to some of the things both of you said earlier, is all those gestures, all those nuances that you notice, I think reflect the care and attention and passion you feel. When you walk around this campus, you must feel incredibly proud of the work that each of you does and all of your teams.
I do, but I just want to say it's the people who've kept it looking that way
Yeah.
over all these years, because that's a
Aw.
lot of work.
Well, this has been such a pleasure for us to have you here, and I think we so appreciate the work that you do, and we couldn't do what we do without you. And so,
It's
thank you.
symbiotic. We need
Yeah,
each
it's
other.
symbiotic. I think that, I don't think we have time for questions, or, no? Okay. But listen, Boy, they didn't even get lunch, too. That's my fault. Listen, thank you so much again for your time. It was such a pleasure.
Everyone, give it up for Alicia and Scott. Thank you again.